Hello everyone, Dynamo here. Welcome to another episode of Girls in Obscure Fictional Media, where I cover topics about my favorite type of ladies portrayed in various forms of entertainment, most notably from the least popular or unknown, because I personally like to find hidden gems in lost media. Today's episode theme is nature. First up, let's talk about Hannah Washington, aka Ant, a vigilante superhero with ant-like powers created by artist Mario Gully. The character Ant first appeared in Volume 1 under Arcana Studios in 2004, now currently with Image Comics known as Volume 2. The story of Ant is somewhat confusing to many people, but I'll try my best to clear the air a bit. Originally, Volume 1, the story follows 8-year-old Hannah Washington, a lonely girl who was tormented and bullied at school, and her father, a suspect in armed robbery, is taken into custody. Hannah uses her imagination to escape the harsh realities, doing so writing in her diary stories of an alter ego, an adult version of herself, a superhero named Ant. Thus, Volume 1 premise leads up to Volume 2 from 2005 through 2007, the current story, where Hannah wakes up in a mental institution now as a fully grown adult woman, where she's been told that her memories are a coping mechanism described as juvenile power fantasy. But slowly over time, this actually becomes reality, for the superhero Ant truly does exist. As for Ant's powers, she possessed the ability to generate a hardened yet flexible protective exoskeleton that grants her enhanced superhuman strength, speed, with bulletproof durability. In addition, Ant has 2 razor-sharp antennas that gives her superhuman level senses, which also double as melee weapons. And finally, she can stick to most surfaces, just like Spider-Man. The exoskeleton is generated by the use of Ant's blood sugars, in which over time, especially during fights, they become brittle and break off easily. Though she can heal from physical injuries when the exoskeleton reconstructs by restoring those blood sugars. In terms of personality, it's really difficult to say, but many would describe her as emotionally unstable, scary, ruthless, short-tempered on occasion, but more so, she is shown to be charismatic, has an indomitable will, and is very heroic at heart. What I love about Ant, despite her muddy backstory, is that I have a weakness for animal-based superheroes, especially ones like hers. She is quite unique in my opinion. I like to point out that her overall design, it has undeniable fan service. Like if you check out some of the panels, you go through the comics, her body is laid out in the forefront with no shame whatsoever. Finally, I respect the artist who created her, Mario Gully. He went through a very tough time in his life. From what I searched up about him, he sold the rights to Ant to another Image comic employer named Eric Larson. Yeah, that's gonna rattle some cages there. Now has gotten a revival in June 2021, and so far the reception of her has been mixed, in my opinion. All I can say is that I wish you the best of luck out there, Mario Gully. Next character is Hannah Dundee, originated from Xenozoic Tales from 1987 through 1996, created by Mark Schultz. But you may also remember her from the televised cartoon series and video game called Cadillac and Dinosaurs. The premise of Xenozoic Tales, or Cadillac and Dinosaurs, takes place in a post-apocalyptic setting from an ecological disaster set in the 26th century. And somehow there's prehistoric dinosaurs and mammals like saber-toothed tigers have re-emerged, and there's muscle cars. Anywho, Hannah Dundee is a diplomat, scholar, scientist, and explorer that worked as an ambassador from Wasoon, hope I pronounced that right, formerly known as Washington, D.C. Within the story, her job is to help build relations with the people from the city in the sea, who is associated with another protagonist in the series and serve as a love interest to Jack Tenrick. Hannah Dundee is known to be quite the adventurer herself. She is skilled with firearms, an expert marksman, physically agile, innovative in hand-to-hand combat with the use of gadgets. Finally, she possesses natural leadership qualities. For her personality, she is known to be intelligent, brave, cool-headed, and sometimes quite sassy. In my opinion about Hannah Dundee, she is the perfect example of bold and beautiful, feminine but also tough, who knows how to get the job done. If you want to watch the animated series, you can check it out on YouTube, all 13 episodes right here. And finally, the last character is Tyrone Kagecchio. And I'll be honest, I do not have a script for this one because man, the anime is just really difficult to get into. I'm just gonna sum it up real quick. So the plot of this order users have the ability to grant their wishes with their special powers called orders. The main character, a teenage boy, believes he is responsible for the Great Destruction that happened exactly 10 years ago because of his wish, which is why he refuses to use his powers, even though he wished upon destruction. That sounds like your typical school shoot. I mean, all I gotta say about this is that it takes like the worst parts of every shonen genre out there, combined onto one, and watching this, it kind of feels like a parody within itself. Tyrone Kagecchio is a woman and adversary of the main character. She fights with a hammer and has the power to control rock, or golem, and petrify her enemies or herself. I really want to talk about this character. Really not much to say about her, except that she's shown to be cruel and sadistic. And overall, I'd say her personality is kind of flat. She really didn't have much screen time. It's really hard to judge. But I gotta admit, I love her design overall. The contrast with her white attire and hair, and her purple eyes with her chocolate dark skin, which I'm very fond of. And they don't shy away from the fan service from here on out, as you can see here. Strutting her boobies and running around. Other than that, everything else is just pretty shallow. I just love her design, straight up. That wraps up for this video. Thank you all for watching. Dynamode out.